The world of superheroes have always been a fascinating one with new and different heroes basically being created every single day. From my most favorite superhero, the web swinging Spider Man, to my second tier superhero that happens to be the Dark Knight Detective Batman. But I've always had a soft spot for the mythical and magical superheroes, like Doctor Strange or Doctor Voodoo over on the Marvel side, and Etrigan the Demon and Doctor Fate on the DC side. But there always had been one superhero who deals with the supernatural, paranormal, and everything that you can imagine that he can get his hands on. That's been one of my favorite superheroes ever in the magical realm, and one that I really kind of decide to every so often. This is an Alan Moore creation that had first appeared in Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. Unfortunately, I do not have the volume of that he first appeared, but Alan Moore did in fact create him at first, but he's been so famous throughout the years, he's been written by very famous people, primarily probably mostly Garth Ennis, and he has been in DC Comics for years to come, especially because of his popularity. My friends, we're going to go and delve into the supernatural and take a look at a different origin of the one and only man, myth, and legend, John Constantine. This is a review of John Constantine, Disordered Illusions. Greetings, geeks and nerds, I'm Lady Universe, and I'm White and Nerdy. And yes, we are going to be talking about John Constantine, but not just any John Constantine comic. One that has actually came out not too recently. Constantine, Disordered Illusions, written by Cami Garcia and artwork by Isaac Goodart. Now this honestly caught me by surprise because I actually really do like John Constantine. So in fact, when I actually found out that that this was actually being sold at my local bookstore, I actually was kind of interested until I learned that on the back that it's a new origin for him. So I was kind of like, okay, a little bit intrigued. How are we going to do his origin? So it turns out that in this universe, John Constantine already knows magic. He already knows about the world of magic and everything in between, but his life is not all it's cracked up to be. He's a rock star, but he's dealing with his mother who went through a divorce and is dating a new man who had just so happened to be a magician as well. But John is, trying to put his life together, but his rock band is not everything it's cracked up to be. They're not famous, they're not really good at playing music, and so on and so forth. But he accidentally, and I do mean that term very loosely, accidentally, during a seance, I guess you would say, he accidentally infects one of his friends with a demon by getting them possessed by it. So, yeah, John Constantine's life is just full of good ideas, I suppose. But I will have to say that, yeah, John usually has some very good ideas in getting some demons into working with his life, but once he can't save her, he actually depends upon other people, other magic users that he knows in the DC universe, to come and, fix it. He gets a lot of different magic users to be involved in this, and he's like, can you fix what I have done? So, Constantine Disordered Illusions is actually kind of a unique twist upon the John Constantine world. And I know that some people would probably correct me in the comments and say it's Constantine, but I have said it Constantine. So, be that as it may, for me, this is John Constantine. But I do have to say, I kind of like the idea that Cami Garcia brings onto John Constantine, or that, we're going to make him a magician. He already knows about the supernatural and paranormal, but let's have him accidentally fuck it over for himself. Like, let's have him summon a demon, accidentally possess a woman that he ends up, having a thing for that was in his band, and let's just kind of make him, this all around douchebag, which he actually, ends up becoming. But I do actually kind of like that she much like Ghost Ennis before, who was like, okay, John is not gonna have a happy life. He's not gonna be a happy person. He's gonna have things screwed up with him. And in case you're wondering if he does actually wear the suit that he is known for, yes, but he ends up wearing it towards the end. We don't get to see him be introduced to Chad Kramer at all, but the kind of a thing that I expected from it, but I just kind of wanted him to be like, no, Chad, so later in his life, Chad would help him go out on his journeys. I do like that he knows a bunch of uh, supernatural and paranormal investigators or people in this. He actually has a teacher who trains him in this, almost like Marvel Doctor Voodoo kind of. So I do like that, but I don't like how Miss Garcia already had John Constantine in the realm of magic. I was kind of hoping like he would learn about it, and then he'd have to study it in order to save the world. I don't really like that he accidentally possessed his friend by a goddamn fucking demon. I was hoping that that wasn't going to be the case. I mean, it's kind of unique because John Constantine is a guy that always screws the pooch somewhere in his life. He always ends up making a mistake. He ends up having to correct some of his mistakes that he makes in life. So I do like that that is involved in here. Like, you get to see him making mistakes and then trying to correct those mistakes. And also because Constantine is Constantine, he tried to fix it himself. And usually, sometimes when he does that, he ends up making it worse before he ends up making it entirely better. Um, so it is kind of unique that she put that little twist upon it. I don't really like that again that he was thrown just into the magical realm. I would have liked it, if he accidentally summoned a demon, got his friend possessed, and then he had to learn all about magic, the supernatural, in order to save her, which I would have liked, truthfully better. Um, but that's just me. I also don't like. In a way, I kind of do, but in a way, I don't. I like that she made him a rock star because a lot of readers, young readers, probably are in bands or musicians or rock stars. I would not, but just to kind of get them the feeling that that they can relate to this guy. Also, the fact that he has a his mother or his father, I believe in the comic dies in the graphic novel. I believe his real father is dead. I believe I'm not 100% certain. So he has basically a stepfather, and I like that because kids reading this can be like, okay, I can relate to this kind of aspect. Like I can relate that this is happening, kind of aspect. But then again, um, you know, when he knows all these magic users when they show up later on, it's like, how does he know all these people? Like, throughout the DC universe, he gets to meet like Swamp Thing, Batman, Wonder Woman, Detective Chimp, Blue Devil, Etrigan, but he even had a crossover with Neil Gaiman's Sandman that I talked about in my Sandman Nocturnes and Preludes review, but here it just doesn't make any sense, that he just knows all these people. It's like John Constantine isn't exactly a well-known, well-liked person. You do realize this, right? He is an asshole. He's a British asshole. He takes note in being an asshole, and just all around, John Constantine is an asshole. But I do like that the artwork by Isaac Goodhart. I think that he does a great job giving it his own unique touch and spin. Goodhart has also worked on Victor and Nora, a Gotham love story, which actually I kind of want to check out because I'm kind of interested in that because I love Mr. Freeze. He's one of my favorite Batman villains. But yeah, I do really have to say that it's kind of unique. It goes into a lot of unique places and everything. Um, but then again, it just doesn't really give us a good origin story for John Constantine. Like I admit that Miss Garcia was probably trying to research everything that she could about John Constantine and trying to get it all on the table. but because it just kind of skips around and just goes from place to place, it just doesn't matter if the hero isn't learning anything. Like, I admit the hero getting help, that's great, that's awesome. It's just, if the hero doesn't learn anything, then that's not truthfully the hero's journey. I mean, John didn't really learn anything from this aside from don't possess your best friend with demons anymore. Uh, but he didn't officially, learn anything. There was nothing that, truthfully, that John Constantine really learned from this journey. And I guess that that's kind of the purpose, like, this is kind of for young readers, so you can't delve into too much of a territory, especially how it says graphic novel for young adults. I get that. It it just sucks that there is nothing else to really tie John Constantine together in this whole DC universe. Like, I kind of went in with my expectations not too high but not too low either, because John Constantine is one of my favorite DC creations. I really do like that he dwells in the supernatural and paranormal, something that I actually am fascinated with, myself, something that I like to learn about from time to time. And the fact is that he just ends up fucking his life over. His life is already fucked over to begin with, but the fact that he ends up fucking it over even more does make him more relatable, because there are kids that do kind of go through this where it's like, my life is a living hell, and then it just kind of gets worse, gets worse, gets worse before it ends up getting better for them. So that I actually do like in the aspect, but just the fact that, he gets help, it's kind of nice, but I was expecting him to have his own hero triumph where he conquers it by himself by learning what he had learned. But unfortunately, in this, I'm sorry to say, for Miss Garcia, she kind of made John Constantine an idiot. And John Constantine, while yes, he's an asshole, he's not an idiot. He is a very smart person, especially in the realm of the supernatural and paranormal. But having him learn about it in this would have been amazing, except for the fact that he doesn't end up learning a goddamn thing throughout the entire Disordered Illusion storyline. But I will have to admit that, maybe it wasn't for me, or maybe I thought it was, but then it ended up becoming not really the best story, truthfully. But if you like it, you can tell me if you have liked it. I would recommend, checking it out, just because Constantine Disordered Illusions is actually kind of a great story. It's not within the best realm of what it was trying to tell, truthfully. Like, if I may be honest, it wasn't telling the best story just in general. Um, it was trying to do its own thing that I can respect, but I was kind of hoping that they would have delved into the Constantine universe a little bit more. Like, never once in this, which actually is something that he actually does in the graphic novel, especially in the Ghost and the story, was that he would be smoking, but he doesn't end up doing that, which that would have been a nice Easter egg of like, then when Ghost Ennis writes him when he had cancer, where he almost died, would have made sense, but then it ended up not doing so. And also, if you like Cami Garcia or Isaac Goodhart, there are some other stories back here that they end up doing. I might want to try to look for the Victor and Nora love story one that might be actually good. But yeah, I think I've read one of these Teen Titans books before or heard about them. I don't think it was Beast Boy. I think it was Raven, but I didn't actually end up liking her Raven that much when I read it. I think in 2020 or 2019 when I read it. So yeah, I wasn't actually a big fan of it. But check out Constantine Disordered Illusions. It's kind of good. It's worth the bang for your buck. Unfortunately for me, I wish it would have been better, especially with the storytelling for John Constantine, making him more the hero, the more of the teenager that screwed up. Which I admit is trying to show young readers that it's okay to ask for help if you do screw up, uh, which I can kind of agree with. But I guess it just wasn't for me. So let me know what you thought about John Constantine Disordered Illusions in the comment section down below. And if you know of a good John Constantine storyline, like I mentioned, the one by Garth Ennis, which is the one that everybody else knows. Aside from that one, let me know what the other ones are. And come back here on Friday where we'll be checking out how in the supernatural realm, how Captain America deals with the supernatural. We'll talk about that more with Captain America, the Goat Army. That review will be coming up on Friday. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, check out Constantine, the Total Illusions. And in case you guys are wondering if there's any like horrifying images or whatnot, or anything that deals with dead people, um, no, not really. It just says, dime a dozen kind of story. There is a demon involved, but it's not really the most horrifying thing ever. They keep it PG. They don't really delve into, um, the dark territory or whatever. It's PG, so it's pretty well standard, I would say. So let me know what you guys thought about John Constantine, The Sword Illusion. Go and check it out. If you have a teenager that you think might be interested in this, I recommend it. I mean, I would even if I had children, I would even one day to become a teenager, I'd be like, here, read this. Tell me what you think about it. If they're interested in comic books. If not, then that's okay too. So I'll see you guys back here Friday for the Captain America, the Goat Army review, which I will say not really what I was expecting either, but we'll talk more about that Friday. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter in the link in the description down below. And as always, guys, I've been Rage Universe, I've been White Nudie, and for all you guys, keep eating on and read some John Constantine. Probably not Disordered Illusion, but if you know any good stories, let other people know in the comment section down below. And I hope to see you next time.